Chapter 3: Fire That Should Not Exist. I didn't go back to Susan's house. I couldn't. Not with that collar in my backpack, not with the weight of it pressing against my spine like proof of something I didn't want to believe. Instead I walked. The streets were empty. Or maybe they weren't. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention anymore. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Every time a car passed I flinched, expecting it to slow down. Expecting someone to step out with more equipment, more collars, more questions I couldn't answer. The heat under my skin hadn't gone away. If anything, it was worse now. Like something had woken up inside me and didn't know how to go back to sleep. I ended up at a gas station on the edge of town, the kind with flickering fluorescent lights and a bathroom that required a key attached to a wooden block. The attendant barely looked at me when I asked for it. Inside, I locked the door and leaned against the sink. The mirror was cracked, smudged with something I didn't want to identify. My reflection looked wrong. Pale, hollow-eyed, like I hadn't slept in days. I hadn't. I turned on the faucet and splashed cold water on my face, but it didn't help. The metallic smell was still there, clinging to my skin, my clothes, the inside of my nose. I scrubbed my hands with the cheap pink soap until my knuckles were raw, but it wouldn't come off. Or maybe it was never there to begin with. I don't know. I pulled the collar out of my backpack and set it on the edge of the sink. It looked even worse under the fluorescent lights. The metal was darker than I'd thought, almost black, and the markings weren't just decorative, they looked functional. Like circuitry, maybe, or something older. I traced one of the symbols with my finger. The metal was cold. But my hand wasn't. I could feel the heat radiating from my palm, see the faint shimmer in the air above my skin. Like I was running a fever. Like my body was trying to burn itself out from the inside. I pulled my hand back and shoved the collar into my backpack. I needed to sleep. I needed to think. I don't know what I needed. I made it back to Susan's house sometime after midnight. She was asleep, or at least her bedroom door was closed and the lights were off. I went straight to my room and collapsed on the bed without taking off my shoes. Sleep didn't come. I lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to the house settle around me. The refrigerator humming, the furnace kicking on. Normal sounds, but nothing felt normal anymore. I kept replaying the moment in the forest, the man's face when I'd thrown him, the way he'd looked at me, not angry, not even surprised, just afraid. Like he'd known what I was capable of, like he'd been expecting it. And the collar. God. The collar. What kind of thing needs a collar that size? What kind of thing? I rolled over and pressed my face into the pillow, trying to shut my brain off, but it wouldn't stop. Questions kept circling, each one worse than the last. What am I? What do they think I am? What if they're right? Morning came too fast. I dragged myself out of bed at 6:30, my body aching like I'd been hit by a truck. My hands were still warm. The heat hadn't faded overnight. If anything, it felt stronger now, more insistent, like something pushing against the inside of my ribs. Susan was already in the kitchen when I came downstairs. "You look terrible," she said, not looking up from her coffee. "Thanks. Did you sleep? Some?" She glanced at me, her expression unreadable. "You sure you're okay to go to school?" "I'm fine." I wasn't fine, but I couldn't stay here. Couldn't sit in this house with the beige walls and the hum of the refrigerator and the weight of that collar in my backpack. I needed to move. Needed to see if anyone else knew. Needed to figure out what the hell was happening to me. School felt different that morning. Or maybe I was different. I couldn't tell anymore. I walked through the front entrance and immediately felt eyes on me. Not everyone. Just a few people scattered through the hallway, watching me the way you'd watch something unpredictable. Something that might bolt or bite. Rowan was standing near the lockers, talking to someone I didn't recognize. He looked up when I passed. Our eyes met for half a second, and I saw something flicker across his face. Concern, maybe. Or recognition. He started to move toward me, but I turned away and kept walking. I didn't want to talk to him. Didn't want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to get through the day without anyone asking questions I couldn't answer. First period was a blur. I sat in the back and stared at the board without seeing it. My hands clenched under the desk to keep them from shaking. The heat was worse now. Constant. Like a low-grade fever that wouldn't break. The girl sitting next to me kept glancing over, her nose wrinkling slightly. I probably smelled like smoke. Or sweat. Or something worse. I didn't care. Second period was worse. The teacher called on me twice and I didn't hear her either time. Just sat there staring at nothing until someone kicked my chair and I snapped back to reality. "Mr. Smith?" "Sorry, what?" She repeated the question, but I still didn't know the answer. Just shook my head and looked down at my desk. She moved on. By third period, I was starting to feel like I was losing my mind. The heat was building. Not just in my chest anymore, everywhere. My arms, my legs, the back of my neck. Like my blood was too hot. Like my skin couldn't contain it. I kept checking my hands, expecting to see flames. There was nothing. But I could feel it. God, I could feel it. Lunch was when things started to fall apart. I grabbed a tray and sat at the same table as yesterday, in the corner where no one would bother me. The cafeteria was loud, too loud, and the fluorescent lights felt like they were drilling into my skull. I picked at my food without eating. Across the room, I saw Maria watching me. She was sitting with a group of girls I didn't know, but she wasn't paying attention to them. Just staring at me with that same careful expression she'd had yesterday. Like she was trying to figure something out. I looked away. A few tables over, Rowan was sitting alone. That was weird. Yesterday he'd been surrounded by people. Today he was just there, staring at his phone, but not really looking at it. His jaw was tight, his shoulders tense, like he was waiting for something. I scanned the cafeteria, looking for Calder. He wasn't there. I checked again, slower this time, but I still didn't see him. His usual table was full of people, but he wasn't among them. That was weird too. Calder was always here, always in the middle of things, always smiling, always asking questions. Where the hell was he? I was still thinking about it when Maria appeared next to my table. Hey. I looked up. Hey. She sat down without asking, her tray untouched. You okay? Fine. You don't look fine. I'm fine. She studied me for a long moment, her dark eyes unreadable. Rowan's worried about you. Why? I don't know. He won't say. She paused, but he asked me to check on you. I'm fine, I said again. Elijah. I'm fine. She didn't look convinced, but she didn't push, just sat there for a few more seconds, then stood up and walked away. I watched her go, my chest tight. They knew something. I don't know what, but they knew. After lunch, I couldn't take it anymore. The heat was unbearable now. My skin felt like it was burning, my hands trembling so badly I could barely hold a pencil. I asked to go to the bathroom and the teacher waved me off without looking up. I didn't go to the bathroom. I went outside. The air was cold and damp, the sky overcast and heavy with the promise of rain. I stood on the front steps and breathed in deep, trying to calm down, trying to make the heat go away. It didn't work. If anything, it got worse. I started walking. I don't know where I was going. Just away. Away from the school, away from the people watching me, away from the questions I couldn't answer. I ended up at the edge of the forest. The trees were dense here, the underbrush thick with ferns and moss. Mist clung to the cedar trunks, and somewhere in the distance I could hear the sound of running water. A river, maybe, or a creek. I stood there for a long time, just breathing, and then I heard it. A voice, faint, distant, coming from somewhere deeper in the trees. Help! I froze. Please, someone. It was a man's voice, strained, desperate. I hesitated. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to turn around, to go back to the school, to not go into the forest alone. But the voice came again. Please. I started walking. The forest swallowed me whole. 1 second I was at the edge, the next I was surrounded by trees so thick I couldn't see the sky. The mist was heavier here, clinging to everything. Muffling sound. I followed the voice. It kept calling out, always just ahead, always just out of sight. Help, please. My heart was pounding. The heat in my chest was worse now. Almost painful, like something trying to claw its way out. I pushed through a tangle of ferns and stopped. The voice had gone quiet. I stood there, breathing hard, listening. Just the sound of water somewhere to my left and the faint rustle of wind through the branches. Hello? I called out. No answer. I took a step forward, and that's when I heard it. The click. Soft, metallic. I looked down and saw the wire across my ankle, already pulled taut. Oh no. Oh God, no. The net came down from above. I didn't even see it until it was on me, heavy and metallic and tangled around my arms and legs. I tried to pull free but it just tightened, the wires digging into my skin. I fell, hit the ground hard, my shoulder slamming into a root, and then they were there. 3 of them. Maybe 4. I couldn't see clearly through the net, couldn't focus on anything except the panic rising in my throat. One of them crouched down next to me. Got him. His voice was calm, professional, like this was routine. Careful, another one said. He's stronger than he looks. I know. The first one reached for something on his belt. A collar, just like the one in my backpack. No. No, no, no. The heat in my chest exploded. I don't know how to describe what happened next. It wasn't like anything I'd ever felt before. The heat didn't just build, it erupted. Like something inside me had been holding back and suddenly couldn't anymore. Like a dam breaking. My vision went white. My body. God. My body. Something was wrong. Something was changing. I could feel my bones shifting. Not breaking. Shifting. Like they were rearranging themselves, growing, stretching in directions they weren't supposed to go. It hurt. It hurt so much I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Couldn't do anything except scream. But the sound that came out wasn't human. It was something else. Something wild and furious and not mine. The net tore. I felt it give way, the metal wires snapping like thread, and suddenly I was free. But I wasn't me anymore. My hands. They weren't hands. They were claws, massive, black, tipped with something sharp and gleaming. I tried to stand and the ground felt wrong. Too far away. Or too close. I couldn't tell. My vision was different, sharper. I could see everything. Every leaf, every branch, every drop of moisture clinging to the bark. I could see the men backing away, their faces pale, their hands shaking. I could smell their fear metallic, sharp, like blood. One of them raised something, a weapon, maybe, but I moved before he could use it. I didn't mean to. I just moved. And suddenly he was on the ground, his weapon shattered, his eyes wide with terror. Jesus Christ! Fall back! Fall back! They ran. All of them. I watched them go, my body trembling, my breath coming in short gasps that sounded like growls. What am I? What the hell am I? I looked down at my hands, my claws, and felt something rise in my throat. Fire. Actual fire. I could feel it building, hot and bright and impossible. And before I could stop it, it came pouring out. The trees in front of me ignited. Just like that. 1 second they were wet and green, the next they were burning. The flames spreading faster than they should have, hotter than they should have. I stumbled backward, trying to stop it, trying to make it go away. But I didn't know how. I didn't know how to control this. Didn't know how to stop. Didn't know how to change back. My body felt wrong. Too big. Too heavy. My legs didn't work the way they were supposed to. And my arms, my claws, kept scraping against the ground when I tried to move. I could feel wings, folded against my back, massive and leathery and impossible. This isn't real. This can't be real. I tried to focus, tried to make myself human again, but I didn't know how. Didn't know what I was doing or how I'd done it in the first place. The fire was spreading. I could hear it crackling, smell the smoke mixing with the cedar and pine. I had to stop. Had to change back. Had to. I closed my eyes and focused on the heat. Not the fire. The heat inside me. The thing that had been building for days. I tried to pull it back. Tried to make it smaller, quieter, less. It fought me. God, it fought me. But slowly, so slowly, I felt my body start to shift again. The claws receded. The wings folded and vanished. My vision blurred. The sharpness fading. The world becoming dimmer and smaller and more familiar. I fell to my knees. Human knees. Human hands pressed against the wet earth. I was shaking so hard I thought I might fall apart. My clothes were gone. Torn to shreds. I was covered in dirt and ash and something that might have been blood, but I couldn't tell. The fire was still burning behind me. I could hear it, smell it, but I couldn't move. Couldn't do anything except kneel there and try to remember how to breathe. I don't know how long I stayed like that. Minutes, hours. Time didn't make sense anymore. Eventually, I heard footsteps. Deliberate, coming from somewhere to my right. I looked up. A man stepped out from between the trees. Tall. Maybe 40. Dark hair going gray at the temples. He was wearing a long coat, dark and heavy, and his eyes. His eyes were golden. Just like the man I'd seen watching me outside the school. He stopped a few feet away and looked at me. Not with fear. Not with anger. Just curiosity. Like he was seeing something he'd thought was impossible. He was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. His voice low and calm. Dragons were supposed to be extinct.